All right, everyone, we're going to get started. Good evening. Thank you for coming out on this wonderful Tuesday. It's already February. I can't believe it. We put up on the Instagram a little countdown. We're a little under 50 days now, so I can't believe that we're already almost there. This is my good friend, Lynn Dan. She is our travel coordinator. She's helping me plan the trip. You might have seen emails from her as we've been going through this process throughout the year. And she is just an absolute phenomenal coordinator and planner for us. And I could not be doing this trip without her wonderful help. So she has been working with a lot of groups over the past couple weeks, but she has carved out some time today to come to San Dimas to talk us through the trip, to answer any and all of your questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Lynn to kind of get us started. And yeah, so without further ado, welcome to the stage, Lynn Dan, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I've seen some of you. I've talked to lots of you on the phone or by email and all of that stuff. So we're excited about this trip. This is going to be an amazing trip. We have 157 students going from 3 schools and 33 chaperones. So we are going to be a nice sized group. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so you will come out on Tuesday. Everything is on the website. The itinerary is on the website. I get lots of emails that say, you know, what time are we leaving for the airport? Well, that's going to be up to him. But the airport, the flights are on here. The hotel's on here. All of our plans are on here. Our plans are pretty well confirmed at this point. We have all of the tickets purchased and everything is ready to go. So we're really excited about this. So you will fly out on Tuesday, April 2nd, and arrive at the airport. There will be a bus to pick you up, and I will give you all that information to call. I will meet you at the hotel when you arrive at the hotel. I'm actually going in the day before, so I will already be at the hotel and meet you there. Once we get to the hotel, we'll get everybody checked in. We'll make sure all of the rooms are what they are, and your director has the rooming list. I don't know if he started. Have you started filling out the rooming list yet?
So actually 2 things before we get too far ahead. We will be having a bus take us from San Dimas High School to LAX. It's easier for us to just get everyone checked in here. That way we know everybody is here, and then we will go drop them off. That bus will be leaving very early, approximately around 4:20 in the morning. So it'll be an early day on Tuesday, a long day on Tuesday, but it's easier for us to take one bus instead of have to have all of you figure out a way to get to LAX. Mm-hmm. And that is a thing I'm doing to help you and to help my sanity. As far as rooms and flight lists go, your students just today were sent the information for the rooming lists. I'm going to be compiling those together, as well as the flight list. We have our block of tickets, and I'm going to figure out where everybody goes. So that's where we're at. I think that was where we were at.
Yep. And the rooming list, most students will be 4 to a room. I believe you've got a couple rooms that have 3, just because of the way the numbers fell out. So, but they will be 3 or 4 to the room. Chaperones are 2 per room. And the chaperones, and I have pre-assigned some of the chaperone rooms. That's so. So the chaperones will be 2 to a room. That's the way it's set up. Once you arrive at Crowne Plaza, we will get everybody checked in. And the early time for the airline, it's really important. The airline requires us to check in groups 2 hours ahead of time. And so it's really important to be on time and be there that morning and make sure that students that are 18 or older must have a government-issued ID, driver's license, passport, state ID, some kind of government-issued ID. So if they're 18 or over, especially make sure if they turn 18 on the trip, we really need them to have a government-issued ID for them to get back. We did have a trip several years ago to New York, and somebody turned 18 on the trip, had no government-issued ID, and it was a hassle to get them on the plane. It was a pain. So we want to make sure that if they're 18 or over, they do have an ID. Students that are 17 and younger are not required to have ID, but we do strongly recommend that they at least have their student ID or some kind of photo ID if at all possible. Sometimes they ask, sometimes they don't. Because we have enough adults going and we have adults with them, we can get them through. But if they're going to be 18, they have got to have some kind of government-issued photo ID. So please make sure you have that. Once you get to the hotel, we'll get everybody checked in, we'll get everybody to their rooms, and then we will gather in the lobby probably, or the upstairs. There's an upstairs conference area. If it's not being used, we'll gather up there. We'll walk across the street to Junior's, which is a New York icon restaurant for dinner. So it'll be a late night dinner. I mean, you arrive at 6:26. You probably won't get to the hotel till 8:30. We probably won't get to dinner till 9:30. So you want to make sure you do have a layover, that they have money for something to eat at that point or have snacks with them. Remember that you cannot have anything over 3 ounces of liquid in your carry-on. You can put it in your checked bag, and you do have 1 checked bag included, plus 1 carry-on, plus 1 personal item, so a purse or something that can go under the seat. But anything over 3 ounces, they will take away from you. And that includes toothpaste, face lotion, any type of paste or lotion or liquid, any of those they'll take away from you. So make sure that your carry-on does not have anything over 3 ounces of liquid or paste. Also, it's strongly recommended that you put them in a plastic, either a quart size or a gallon size plastic Ziploc bag, so that when you go through security, you can take it out and show it to them if they want to see it. So those are tips for packing. Checked bags, you don't have to worry about that. Checked bags, you don't have to worry about your liquids. Like I said, you've got 1 checked bag included that was part of our trip. So you could have 1 checked bag, 1 carry-on, and 1 personal item. And you will need, to think about the weather. Look at the weather in New York. I don't know. Somebody asked me last night, what's the weather going to be? It could be snow, it could be rain, it could be 65, 70 degrees. We'll find out. We'll pay attention to it as we get closer, but make sure that you have a variety of clothing packed and ready to go so that we can do that. And also your concert attire, and I assume you'll work with them to make sure what kind of concert attire they're going to have for Carnegie Hall. So that will be that day. They probably won't get back to their rooms till 10:30, 11. I imagine they're going to be exhausted. At night, when we determine the lights out for that night, and it'll depend on what our schedule is for that day. Generally, it's between 10 and 11, so we'll tell them it's going to be lights out. We're going to ask the chaperones, who will be assigned usually to 2 rooms, each set of chaperones, to go and check, look at the whites of their eyes, make sure that there's 4 students in each room, and only 4 students in each room. And the students that are assigned to that room, and we will make this very clear too when we check them in, is that we want to see them, talk to them. There's going to be no, oh, they're in the shower, oh, they're already asleep with covers over their face. We have to see all 4 students. At that time, the chaperones will put a very small piece of painter's tape on the door jamb, not to lock them in. It doesn't, prevent them from opening the door, but it tells us if the door's been opened during the night. Once they're in for lights out, that's it for the night until when we'll give them a time of when we'll take that tape off and when they can come out in the morning.
If you've been on tour with us in the past, this is a familiar process to you. So that's exactly what we do with all of our trips that we've done in the past.
Okay,
we'll
perfect.
save questions for now until.
Okay.
We'll do all the questions at the end if that works. When they arrive, I will have name tags. They'll look like this. This is for a tour I'm doing. I leave Thursday on a tour. We're going to give every student a name tag like this, and every chaperone also, everybody that's involved with the tour. And we will ask that anytime they're outside of their hotel room, they have this on. That way we can identify who's part of our tour, we can identify our chaperones, everyone will have this. Also, in the back of this one does not have it, but the back of it will be the schedule for the bus schedule or the activity schedule for the week, so that they can't say, we didn't know, because it'll be on the back of their schedule. There will also be, do you use Remind? So there'll be other Remind messages, there'll be announcements and all of that, but we will put it on the name tags so that there's no question of what the schedule is each day and where they need to be and when they need to be there. Now, the hotel we are at closed their restaurant during COVID, and it has not reopened, which was unfortunate because that's where we were going to have breakfast. But they do have in the lobby a grab-and-go type place, like a coffee thing. It actually, I was there in August, and they have breakfast sandwiches and egg bites and coffee and sodas and all of that stuff. So what we are going to do is each student, and they'll be in their name tags, will be issued a Visa gift card for $100 that will cover breakfast each day. And if they don't want to use it for breakfast, that's great. It's a Visa gift card, it'll be used anyway, but they will be, that will be what they'll use for breakfast. And that should give them plenty to eat. If they want to get snacks for the day, that's fine. We also, a lot of times we pay $20 or $30 per student per day for breakfast, and then half of them don't come down for breakfast. And it doesn't matter, we pay for it whether they show up or not. So this way, the students can use the money. If they don't want breakfast, they can use it for lunch. They can use it for snacks, whatever they want to do, but it'll be good. And it'll be good anywhere in the city, but it's specifically designed to get them breakfast each day. So this will be, this is a learning experience for all of them, and how to budget that money and how to know how much is left on that card. But if they go over that amount, then they will have to cover that. I got like a croissant, bacon, cheese thing with a big cup of coffee, and it was like $9. So it's certainly plenty for them to get a snack if they want to do that. So that will be how breakfast is handled each day. Unless by some miracle they get the restaurant open, but so far it doesn't look like it. So that will be each day with breakfast. On Wednesday we're trying to hit every iconic New York sightseeing thing all in one day. And we're gonna wear them out. We have tickets for Statue of Liberty at 9 a.m. So we will probably be leaving the hotel at 7:30, and we will be traveling by subway, because you have to go on the subway if you're in New York. This is one activity when we get on the subway that the chaperones will be assigned. You are in charge of these 4 students, and we will make sure that they are with you. We will verify everybody as we leave the hotel. We'll verify them again at the other end to make sure they all got there. But the chaperones, this is probably the biggest time that we're going to need the chaperones to be really diligent of making sure those students that they're assigned get on the subway, get off the subway. We'll have maps, we'll have all of that stuff, but that's one of the responsibilities of the chaperones, is to get them on and off the subway. Thankfully, the subway goes right down near Battery Park. We get on one subway from across the street at the hotel, go straight down and get off at Battery Park, so it'll work out really well. So we're gonna do Statue of Liberty. We're gonna go walk down the street to Brookfield Plaza, which is a food court with about 25 or 30 different styles of food. So they will get their lunch. That lunch is not included, although if they didn't eat their breakfast and they have their card, they can use that for that. But we'll find an area where everybody is sitting together, and they can go to all these little food places, and there's some really cool, there's a wonderful pizza place and all of that. So we'll have lunch there. We'll walk across the street to the 9/11 Memorial and the 2 fountains, spend a little bit of time there, and then go into the 9/11 Museum, which is absolutely amazing. Talks all about what happened on 9/11. So it's a very impactful museum. They did a really nice job. From there, we're gonna take the subway back up to Times Square, and we have got a beautiful room reserved at the Hard Rock Cafe with a stage right in the center, and the tables all go around it and go tiered up. So if we get students that would like to share their songs, they can do that. We do have the whole room, so we can do that. And then we will go on a New York City bus tour, and we will remind the students at this point, it could get cold at night, so they want to make sure and have a jacket. But we've got a 2-hour bus tour that will go all through the city and kind of see everything at night, so they'll get to drive through Times Square at night and all of those things. And then we're going to go to the Empire State Building. We have tickets at 9:30 p.m. to go to the top of the Empire State Building. So we'll be able to see the whole city. Hope for no clouds or fog or anything like that, so we can see the Statue of Liberty. But it should be good. So that will be another very long day and late night, but it should be fun. And on Thursday is the music festival. It's at Queens College at the Aaron Copland School of Music. And it is going to be amazing. It's going to include an adjudicated performance, which means that the groups will get up on stage one by one and have 3 adjudicators, 3 choir teachers primarily, and give them tips and ideas of their music and how they did and all of that stuff. It will include, lunch will be included. This is for the students only. Now during this day, the chaperones are free to do whatever you want to do in New York. Probably until about 4:30, and we'll know more. I'm still waiting for the exact schedule for the day, but probably until about 4:30. So the chaperones will have, once you help us get all these students on the buses, we do have 3 bus loads, so once we get all the students on the buses, then the chaperones will be free until we return about 4:30. The Broadway Classroom 101 is where they bring currently working Broadway actors and actresses into a classroom, and they teach them a song and a dance routine from a current Broadway show. Last time we were there, we got really lucky and we had the 3 top leads from Wicked come in and teach us a song from Wicked and the dance routine. It's not a performance, they don't perform it, but they just learn it and learn what the routine is to how these stars do this. Then they do a question and answer period with the students, and we'll answer all of their questions. My son was on that tour, and my son, first thing he says, well, you don't need college, do you, to be on Broadway? And every single one of the actors said, oh yes, you need college. You should go to college. There's very few actors that are successful that don't have a college degree to fall back on, and what they learn in performances and things in college. So I loved that answer, because I was afraid they were going to say, no, at 17, move to New York and become a star.
Or a waiter.
Or a waiter, yeah, exactly. So that will be that day. We're going to go back to the hotel, give them a little bit of time to get something to eat. Same thing, it's technically not included. We're not doing a group dinner, but if they want to use their card and they have money on it, they can do that. Either the grab and go, or there is a restaurant, but it is a nighttime restaurant, but it is pretty expensive. Or if they, we'll find other ways, possibly go next door to there's a little gift shop that has food and sandwiches and stuff like that. So we'll work on that once we get the schedule of what the day is going to look like, because we want to make sure that we have enough time to get to the show. 7 o'clock, we're going to be seeing Wicked. We have orchestra seats for Wicked on the left side of the theater, kind of the back left side of the theater. And I've been told, I had another group go a couple weeks ago, and they said they were amazing seats. They had a great view. So we will see Wicked and then go back to the hotel after that. On Friday is our performance day at Carnegie Hall. Now, this is another one we don't have the schedule yet, so this is gonna fluctuate depending on what the schedule turns out. But we are gonna do a 2-hour rehearsal with Rollo Dilworth, who is incredible, and we'll work with each of the mass choirs. There are 3 mass choirs for each one, and there's 4 choirs in each of those mass choirs. So they will meet in this rehearsal studio and work with Rollo Dilworth for 2 hours. Then as your rehearsal is either done or beforehand, depending what the schedule comes out, we will go down and tour Radio City Music Hall. And if nothing is in rehearsal, they will let us go out on the stage and sing. Not a scheduled performance or anything like that. You're singing to an empty room. But just to stand on the Radio City Music Hall stage and sing is really cool. If there's no sets or anything on the stage. So we'll just have to find out as we get there. But no matter what you go through, they meet a Rockette, they get to take a picture with a Rockette, they see the rehearsal rooms, they see the incredible lobby for Radio City Music Hall, all of that stuff. So that tour will be fit in there depending on when their rehearsal is. And then we will also have lunch in Central Park. So probably on the big rocks, in Central Park, but we'll stop and have lunch in Central Park. So, and then on Saturday, it's back home. So it'll be a real whirlwind trip. We purposely exhaust them so that they'll all sleep, so we can all sleep. And I will be on the tour the whole time. My assistant will also be on the tour, plus we have the 33 chaperones and we have 3 directors. So it should be a great trip, and we are working hard to get the schedule to where everything fits very well and we can see as much as we possibly can without missing anything. So, any questions on that?
Do you have a suggested amount of money for them to bring? There were some of those times when dinner wasn't included or things like that where they may burn through that $100 pretty quick. the suggested amount?
I would probably say between $150 and $200. Unfortunately, what we find is a lot of the students spend a lot of money on souvenirs. And so even if they have plenty of money for lunch, or dinner,
And the souvenirs aren't labeled, it's like you pick it up and then you find out when you get
Yeah.
to the thing.
And so, you want to have a conversation with your students about that thing. We always have one or two that by the end of the week, they have no money. And including my daughter at one of the trips. My daughter actually got stranded in Japan, spent every cent she had, got to the airport, and they canceled her flight.
Oh, no.
And she ended up getting stuck for 3 days with not a penny to her name.
Oh, no.
And she was 17.
Oh, no.
And I was on the phone going, somebody's got to fly me to Japan or something. I don't know what to do. And actually, the American Embassy stepped in and helped her. So it was pretty amazing, and they helped her. But we are not going to let anybody not eat. We will make sure that everybody eats in some form. But they do need to learn. That's part of the learning curve of tours like this, is learning how to budget their money and learning how far it goes. Things are expensive in New York. They just are. My favorite of all time, there's a little ice cream truck that sits in Central Park, and it is $12 for an ice cream cone. And it's like, really? I only want one, not 5. But it's really good ice cream. So I would say between $150, $200 minimum. If you can give them some kind of debit card,
Protein shakes the whole week.
or credit card or something like that. But that should get them through.
Are the cards reloadable?
It's your choice. I have one for my son that I can reload in 30 seconds.
Not the basic.
Not the one.
The ones we have, no, they're a set amount. Yeah. So,
There's
yeah.
always Apple Pay if places take it.
There's Apple Pay, and there's so many things now. We do end up a lot of times with kids that need money, and they come and Venmo me, and I hand them cash, and I become a bank at the same time. So,
Do you email out like a little suggested packing list?
We will.
Contact lens,
Yeah.
chargers, so you don't have to spend $30 on a charger for your device.
right. We will mail that once once we're about 10 days out, and we
Okay.
can see what the weather is going to look like. Because the night of the performance, Carnegie Hall is 0.6 of a mile from the hotel. And they want $1,200 each way for a bus. So if it is all possible, we are going to walk and spend that money somewhere else. It's set aside, we have it if we need it. But yeah, to spend $2,400 to cart the kids, just over half a mile seems ridiculous. So
Whether it's clear or not, if it's cold, I highly, highly recommend you put a beanie and a backup beanie on the packing list. Because in California, you don't realize how much heat is lost through the top of your head.
yeah. Well, I live in Utah,
but
so
it
I know
doesn't matter,
we
you
know
know,
what
I feel
cold
it.
is. Yeah, yeah. Beanies, anything, and we don't know. The weather could be anything.
Well, it's good against the pigeons too.
Yeah, that's true too. I was there in November, and it was 75 degrees the whole time we were there. It was just beautiful. And you just never know, but it could be snowing too. So it doesn't usually snow hard at that time of year, but we will
We get
try to be
late.
prepared.
Those late storms sometimes come in, but.
Yep. So we will put together a packing list once we get closer and can look at.
Don't forget the chargers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the chargers, thankfully they can share a lot of times. And the hotel has this machine in the lobby that you drop your cell phone in and it disinfects it and it spits it back out. It's really cool.
So weird. But you said there's 157 students?
157
Are we
students.
all going to everything, all 157 of us together?
The whole day, we're all moving together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gave us a
The
lot
tour
of.
day?
Hmm?
Is that on the Wednesday?
On the Wednesday. It gave us a lot of bargaining power in terms of tickets, so we were able to add extra activities because we were buying that many tickets.
We're going with one of my friends down in Irvine, Portola High School, and then another high school that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, but they're from Oregon, I think it was, or whatever the last high school was. But yes. So
So-
we'll be going around
Yep.
with a bigger group, but it will be still our own group as we go around.
And you will, and the name tags, when you get the name tags, I've actually bought, the lanyards are gonna be your school colors, so we can tell the difference between the schools too. So we'll be able to quickly identify which students are from which school. But our hope is that they'll intermix and get to know each other and share and all of that stuff. So it should be good. Other questions? Yes.
If for any reason we needed to get a hold of an adult or Mr. Pugh, what's the best way that we could do that?
I will send out a thing, and actually you have it on everything we sent out with my phone number, my cell phone number, and also my assistant's cell phone number. And the students, it will be on their name tags, on the back of their name tags, for several reasons. If they need anything, they can text me or call me. But also if they would get lost, somebody can call us and let us know. So we will do that, and then I don't know
And
if
they'll
you
have their
want.
chaperone's phone number as well as mine. So, yeah, there'll be ways that they can contact, and also you'll have my phone number by then as well. Yeah.
So, yes.
How do we figure out who our chaperone is?
We will know that night when you arrive at the hotel. I will have all of that figured out, and I will actually have it on your name tags, on the back of your name tags.
Based
So
on your
it'll-
room, based
Yeah,
on your room.
right.
If there's 2 chaperones to a room, or each of the chaperones called, taking care of one room and get it.
There are 2 rooms per chaperone.
Oh,
But that's for check-in at night. That may not be when we're moving, because we have so many chaperones, which is terrific. So at night when we check in, there'll be 2 rooms. Usually we put 2 chaperones per 2 rooms to verify that everybody's in their rooms at night. So we can hit all the rooms pretty quickly. So, but we'll assign the chaperones. And clearly if you're a parent of a child that's on the tour, then your group will include your child, unless you email me and say not to. But my daughter always got in trouble, so I was like, somebody else can handle her. So, yes.
So I'm going to assume then that in addition to Mr. Pugh's phone number, we'll have the phone number for each of our students?
The chaperones will, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the ones that you're in charge of,
The ones
correct.
that we're in charge of?
Yep,
Great.
yep, we will make sure.
How about luggage? Are they able to take carry-on or just whatever?
There's 1 checked piece of luggage, 1 carry-on, and 1 personal item. So,
And
yeah.
when walking around in New York, what would you suggest?
Oh, if I'm walking around in New York, I would suggest as little as possible. Fanny packs or things that can go in their pockets, or especially for the crossover purses. There's a lot of people and you get jostled a lot. I've been there quite a few times. I've never had a problem, but I do wear a crossover purse, just a little purse that has my wallet and a few things. I do have tote bags that 1 chaperone from each school will be assigned to carry each day, and in there we have a pole with a flag of your school colors so we can quickly identify where you are or where the chaperone is. It also has information on all the kids that are part of that group, and it has some other things, so we can put things down in there. But so we'll take turns kind of being in charge of those, but we will try to have as little as possible carrying around. It's just a lot of jostling around, and we don't want to lose things.
Okay, another question. Their school ID is fine for traveling. They don't need a California ID.
As long as they're under 18. If they are 18 or over, they must have a government-issued ID. Yes?
On the days, will they be able to go back to, like, they're not going back to the hotel, right? Like, they're out for the day.
On the
meeting
Wednesday, they are out for,
everybody.
yeah.
There's not like back and forth.
No,
But the
no.
other days, they will?
Well, Thursday, they will go to the clinic, the festival all day, and then they will go back to the hotel to change for the show. And it would be very nice. People wear everything to shows now in New York. It used to be that you got really dressed up. It was a big deal.
We'll be getting
But-
dressed up.
Yeah, at least the gentleman should have like a button-down collared shirt, maybe some nice slacks, not jeans, something that we want to look nice and we want to present. Everyone's going to notice us all walking in. So the girls can wear dresses or nicer pants with a blouse, something like that. We're going to make it an event to be able to go to a Broadway show. So we want to make sure they have some nice clothing. So they'll have time to go back to the hotel and change. Like I said, it really depends on the schedule of the festival. And I've strongly suggested they let us go by 3:30 only because we're coming clear across Manhattan at rush hour otherwise. So it could take us a while to get there. So, but yes.
For the school ID, is on their phone fine or?
Yeah,
is it-
that's fine,
Okay.
that's fine. Any other questions?
But I
Yes?
might have more, just a comment on them. We were talking about the 3-ounce rule, also the lithium ion battery rule.
The lithium ion battery rule is they cannot have loose lithium ion batteries. And the reason is because they clack against each other and cause fires. So they will ask every person as you get on, do you have loose lithium batteries? It does not include the lithium batteries in iPads. I travel with 6 iPads all the time, and this is an argument that, in fact, I carry the TSA guidelines in my purse because I get challenged on this a lot. And so it is not installed, as long as they're installed, they are fine, so iPads are fine, things like that. But you cannot have loose lithium batteries in your luggage at all, because
Which,
they
which
can.
includes your portable chargers. Those have to be a carry-on, not checked baggage.
I carry them all the time, I've
Yeah.
never had a
Yeah, I'm just saying
problem.
if they go through checked baggage and they catch it, they'll pull it.
I've never had them pull it,
Yeah.
but,
That's just if they catch them.
yeah.
But you're not supposed to put them because of the fire. You know how some have spontaneously combust in the past?
Yeah.
So they're supposed to go in your carry-on.
You're supposed to carry, they won't say that you can carry them on.
Yeah, I'm glad
So
you guys.
I
did
carry
that.
loose lithium batteries on all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you're not
Shooting,
supposed to
do
I
it
have
at all.
in my bag and I have them with me and they
Yeah.
don't say anything.
Yeah, as long as they're
Um,
carry-on.
But
Yeah,
they're
they,
carry-on.
the guideline says that you can't have them at all. So if you carry them on, then they're
When you
not
say
paying
loose
attention.
lithium, I'm thinking like Duracells, right? I'm not taking some double A's on, is that what you mean?
But that's
That's
a.
That's not a
alkaline
lithium battery, that's
Alkaline.
not,
Thank
yeah.
you so much.
The lithium battery.
The rechargeable
Anything
batteries are
rechargeable.
lithium
Just
batteries.
anything
Oh, those
rechargeable.
little, okay, like little anchor.
But they can't be loose, they can't be jostling around.
I
Well,
Yeah.
she's a photographer, so usually you've got this really smart looking thing with a lot of
Right.
pouches. They're not
I mean,
the.
they're in like my camera bag and they're one of the things, and they're always that way, like almost never.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
But I carry them on, I don't check them.
Any other questions?
Yes,
Depends, how formal, is it formal to go for a carnival or like suit and tie? I mean,
I would dress nice. It is not, there is no dress code to be there, but I would dress nice. And Carnegie Hall, just to go through that a little bit, the way it's gonna work is that the students will all be seated in the first, I think it's 10 rows of Carnegie Hall, or 15 rows of Carnegie Hall. And they will be seated there first. Parents will feed in behind them. If you are on this trip, if you have paid to be a chaperone on this trip, your ticket is covered. If not, you do need to buy tickets through the Carnegie Hall website, and my understanding is they're already 80% sold out, or 80% sold. The tickets are, it's called the Harmonic Convergence Concert on the Carnegie Hall website.
We've
they're-
sent that out to you guys already.
Yeah, yep, we sent the flyer out, they're $99 each. But if you're part of the tour, your ticket is included. Now, the students will be sitting in the front group of the hall, the parents will be sitting behind them. The parents will stay there all evening, they won't be moving. The students will be moving, and they cannot have anything with them. No jackets, no purses, no anything. Unless they can put it in a pocket and it doesn't show when they're on stage. And the reason is they're gonna take this choir up on stage, and then all of these students are gonna move this way. And then the next group will come in and they'll keep feeding the students around this way. There is no storage backstage. There is nowhere for anything to be stored. So we will ask the chaperones to coordinate with your students and anything that they need. Obviously, if we're walking, they're gonna need some kind of jacket. They might need a change of shoes, whatever, something like that. So we will ask the chaperones for each group of students to check with their students and find out what they need. But they cannot have anything in their seats with them. They're not supposed to have their cell phones. There is no photography inside Carnegie Hall at all. They will take your phone away from you. It is being professionally recorded, and we will get a copy of that recording. But they don't allow any pictures at all. I do know somebody that took a program and cut a hole in it and held her cell phone in there so that she could film, but it's not recommended because they'll take your phone away from you. So they're really strict about that. So, any other questions?
All right, well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, Lynn, for coming out and speaking with us tonight. This has been like a dream of mine to have us at San Dimas go on this kind of trip, and I hope that you are just as excited as your student that they're able to experience New York in all of its splendor, all the way from these arts and cultural places that we're going to all of these tourist stops that we're going to. I remember when I was in high school, going to New York on a trip with my high school choir, and it had such a huge impact on me. And I hope that it has the same impact on your students. Seeing this broader world, seeing a true like metropolis like New York, you know, after even living outside of something like LA, going to something like New York is just a completely life-changing idea and moment. And I'm so very proud of your students for the hard work that they're doing as we're learning our music for this event, as we're getting prepared to go. Just thank you so much for all your support and all the hard work that I know you guys have done also to get your student to this point to go on this trip. So thank you all so very much. If you have any other questions, you can email myself or Lynn, and we're gonna have this recording up on the YouTube for our choir, and I'll send it out to y'all tomorrow. But thank you all so very much, and just a little under 50 days until we're in New York City. Woohoo!
Exciting.
All right, see y'all later.
Thank you, everybody.